Welcome back to Up the Villa. If you are new around here, make sure you are subscribing, smash a like, comment your thoughts and get involved in everything that we discuss on this episode. I am back. Has anything happened? Much happened? Been quiet? Been the opposite. The opposite. So this is the episode that was going to go out, but didn't go out because of the absolute bombshell that got dropped last week. This is our Champions League preview to the actual whole Champions League campaign. And basically, it's not that far away. We play Everton on Saturday, and then we play Champions League football, which is absolutely mental, that quick turnaround, that Champions League is very close and right round the corner. So we're going to take a look at the fixtures. We're going to take a look at who we're playing, when we're playing. We're also going to take a look at who we're going to be playing before and after Champions League games, because I think that does make a bit of a difference between who we're playing and how congested that's going to get. We'll speak about some of the teams that we're going to be playing as well, but we'll touch on the tickets to start with. And this is probably why the episode didn't go out, because it was so exciting to look forward to it. And it just didn't feel right to put that out when a lot of the fans were disappointed. So we scrapped it. But yeah, I reacted to it when I was in Italy, and a lot of you could probably see I was really disappointed and somewhat frustrated with the club, which I think was fair, and I think it was echoed. And one of the main points that I made on it was, even though I'm frustrated, I'm still going to go. And even though I'm disappointed, I'm still going to be there. But then when you start reading the comments and you start reading what people are saying, that they've been priced out, that they're not able to go, they've been looking forward to this for so many years, and they're going to have to just pick and choose games. They're going to pick maybe 1 out of 4. They can't take their families. Maybe one of them are going to go and everyone's going to stay behind. It's really sad when you read those comments, and those are from people that I talk to on here as well. So you know who they are. You've spoke to them for a while. So it's deeply disappointing and frustrating, and it's a shame that that's the way in which we're going. I think that's one of the other most frustrating things about it. I think when I did the transfer episode and I was reacting to the transfer window, and I was talking about PSR, and I was talking about points deductions, and I was talking about the idea that some people were saying that we should just take the hit and just go with it and then deal with it later on. And you've got all of the media speculation saying that you got this over your head, you're going to get a deduction, you're going to have this, you're going to have that. And I basically said, that's not Aston Villa. And that's not what I associate Aston Villa with. I associate them with being, playing by the rules, which we have done, being fair, and doing everything we possibly can to not break the rules and go down that perfect path. And I kind of hoped we would have done the same with the ticketing and just make it fair. They're obviously not going to be cheap. They were never going to be cheap. But I think a fair price for the middle ground, where it's a little bit more, but it's affordable for most, and most can go. And I think that's the area in which I would have felt we should have gone, really. You look at Newcastle, you look at, they're exactly the same, aren't they, really? They got the Champions League, we've got the Champions League, they've got PSR issues, we've got PSR issues. We both want to be up there challenging the top 4. Villa and Newcastle's aspirations are exactly the same, in my opinion. We both want the same thing. We want sustained success. We want to be in the top 4. We want to sign good players. And that they managed to price it a certain way, maybe because they've got a bigger stadium, that they're able to do that, which then means that they don't have to charge as much because they've got more people coming in for a fee of around 55, 60, where our stadium's smaller. So do we have to charge that more to reach what they reached. Maybe, but yeah, I think that would have been the best option for me. And for what something that should have been a momentous occasion, it should have been something that we could have all looked forward to and we could have all been buzzing about and excited. It does kind of have that little bit of a dark cloud on it now, basically because fans can't go, some can't afford it, which is just not the best, is it? It's not something that we want. We want to all be in this together. We want to all enjoy it together. And it's just deeply frustrating that now that's over. Sort of like the Champions League, the media have gone to town on it. We don't look the greatest, having done something so well recently, and we've got excitement, and it's just put that little bit of a downer on it, really. And then the next day they announce that they are sort of hitting another area of Villa, the disabled parking, that went up 100%, and then a day after that got scrapped. So some bad decisions. I imagine the person that's been writing those tweets and those emails must be thinking, "Oh my god," because they're not great things, are they? They're not great things at all. So I don't know what the solution is. I don't know what we can do, because I think the hand has now been shown, and I think that is the direction that we are simply going in. You look at the price of the tickets for a member or a general admission, and they're around £70 now. And the stark reality of it is that someone will pay it. If you won't pay it, someone else will. If you're a Villa fan and you won't pay it, and there are no Villa fans to pay it, then unfortunately we know what's arriving. The tourists. The tourists are arriving because they will pay it. They will want to watch Champions League football. They do want to watch Premier League football. But is it as accessible to them at times? Probably not. Would Villa be an accessible option? Because certain clubs have already got loads of tourist fans. Chelsea, City, United, Arsenal, Spurs. Who's the next one? Probably Villa. So that is where we're at now. The demand is that high that the club are in a position where they can put these prices on whatever they want. And my personal opinion, I don't see it getting any better. I see it getting even worse. I don't see this situation now eradicating, where we don't want it to happen, and they know we don't want it to happen now, but it's just gonna keep getting higher and higher and higher, because it's like any business, isn't it? If you've got a business and no one goes in there, then you're not going to make no money. You're not going to make no money. It's not going to grow. If you've got a business that has got that much demand, they're in the perfect scenario now. The Villa owners, the Villa Football Club, is in the perfect scenario to grow the football club, because the demand is so high. And while there's demand, people will pay, and I don't like it, but I think that's the reality of where we're at now. So it's deeply frustrating, and I don't like it. I want the most passionate Villa fans in that stadium that sing their heart out, that take their families, that bring the next generation, that can enjoy it all with us. And it's going to be interesting to see where the club does go in the next couple of years off the pitch with the ticket pricing, because I don't think we're there yet. We've got Champions League football once in 40 years. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens this year and where we finish, which will then have a determination of what happens off the pitch with what we qualify as well. But Champions League football, it's vitally important to the football club. We need to keep getting it, because we know that it can grow the club and grow the revenue. And we know that the revenue does need to grow anyway for us to be able to compete, for us to be able to sort out this PSR. So yeah, bitterly frustrating, bitterly annoying. Put a bit of a downer on it. So right, Champions League is back for Villa in just over a week's time, and we did the live stream. We did the live stream with there's over 1,500 watching this stream, which was absolutely mental. And the fixtures came out on the Saturday, and then I went on holiday. So here we've got the fixtures for Aston Villa in the Champions League. So we've got Young Boys away, Bayern Munich at home, which what a mouth-watering tie that is at home. Bologna at home. We've got Bruges away, Juventus at home, Leipzig away, Monaco away, and Celtic at home. And I kind of feel like when I look at these fixtures now, that we're not here to just like take part. We're here to compete in this now. We are here to get points from every single one of these games. And I look at this and I think it's going to be very difficult because Champions League football is difficult. But I think the squad is ready. The squad is made. We are ready to compete at this level now. And I think we are going to surprise quite a few people with what we're about to do in the Champions League. So I've got a list here of what we've got before and after Champions League games. And I think it's okay, you know. I think it's okay. It does get a little bit difficult around November. And yeah, November, that is where it gets quite difficult after. And I'd probably say November's the tough one. So we've got Everton at home on Saturday, followed by Young Boys away, followed by Wolves at home, which is quite good as well. And what I'll say about these fixtures, I think they are pretty evenly spaced out. They have got, different levels of difficulty. Young Boys isn't as difficult as Bayern. Bologna isn't as difficult as Bayern. And then you've got Bruges is okay, Juventus, and then you've got a couple of treacherous ones as it goes on. So we've got Everton, Young Boys, and Wolves, which I think is actually okay. We then follow that up with Ipswich away before Bayern Munich, which I think, again, is going to be a really tough one. And then we've got Manchester United after Bayern Munich. Now, the big thing about some of these games as well is that when we're playing Manchester United after Bayern Munich, they're in Europe as well. So I think it's going to be difficult for both teams. I think it's better to play someone that's in Europe after a European game than it is to play a Premier League team that isn't in Europe. I think that's the way I'm looking at this now. So we play Bayern Munich, Manchester United, and then we've got Fulham away before Bologna, right? But Bayern Munich for me is the mouth-watering tie. It is the one where you want to play an elite team. Like, if you have to go and if you have to pick one of the 4 games to go to, the Celtic one's got a bit of something on it as well. But I think Bayern Munich is the glitz and the glamour tie, isn't it? You're going to have players like Harry Kane, Gnabry, Elise, Musiala, Muller, Kimmich, like so many good players. And this is what I personally want to see from the Champions League. I personally want to see those elite players, the ones that are at the pinnacle of European world football. I've watched that Champions League anthem with Manchester United, growing up in the 90s with Beckham, Keane, Neville, that team of iconic players, Schmeichel, and then just looking at it thinking, God, I wish I was watching that. I wish Villa were doing that. I remember as a kid, I was doing my football training. I'd get back from football training. There'd be Champions League games on. And you'd just be looking at it thinking, wow, like, I just wish Villa could do it. And now we're doing it. And, all those years later, I'm still immensely proud that we're in it, and I'm still so excited as what I probably would have been if I was a kid watching it, because it's massive. And even watching, just Premier League teams in it, like Liverpool come back against AC Milan, Chelsea winning it, the Barcelona days with Messi, it's a competition that's just etched in my brain, and I'm just so excited to be able to watch Villa in it and just compete in it and see these players. So the Bayern Munich one, obviously, it's got that little bit of stardust around Villa winning the European Cup in 1982 as well. So I think that's got that little bit of stardust. What I do really hope is that the players that played in that will be forefront and centre of the marketing or of the presence at the game. I think it would be such a great tribute and an honour for those to be in and around that pitch when the players walk out against Bayern Munich, because it's special. And for all those years that they weren't around the club for various reasons, I think it would be amazing to see them in and around Villa for the Champions League game against Bayern Munich. So we've got, after Bayern Munich, then we've got Manchester United at home, and they've coming off the back of playing in Europe. We've then got Fulham away, Bologna at home, Bournemouth after Bologna, and then we've got Spurs away on the 2nd of November, who play in Europe. We've then got Bruges away, and then we've got Liverpool away, who both play in Europe as well. So the Bruges game is a little bit tricky, because before it, we've got Spurs away, then we've got Bruges away, then we've got Liverpool away. So 3 away games. But what I'm kind of thinking is, if our away form has continued up until this game, we'll have beat Young Boys away, Ipswich away, Fulham away, and then we take on Bruges away, Liverpool away, Spurs away. So we'll be fine. So yeah, so that's going to be difficult in itself, because it's away games, and yeah. But I think the travel's okay for Villa. Bruges, getting back to Birmingham should be pretty easy. Same day, back at Villa. Travel's not so bad. And I think the travel's not so bad in all of them, really. We're going Switzerland away. We're going Bruges away, so Belgium. We're going Germany, and we're going Monaco away. So travel's not that bad. We then play Palace at home, Juventus at home, Chelsea away, who will be in Europe as well. So the Juventus game has obviously got that little bit of Dougie Luiz. It's got that little bit of summit there with that. They've got a little summit there with Emery as well, because he knocked them out of the Champions League when he was at Villarreal. Interestingly, that Dougie Luiz isn't really starting games for Juventus at the minute. I don't know whether that may be the case when they get into the Champions League, but he's not really playing. But yeah, Dougie Luiz, that's going to be so weird, because he's going to be back at Villa in the Champions League in a competition that he helped us qualify, and he's going to be playing against us in that competition that was absolutely amazing for the club that he played for to qualify for. So that one's going to be really interesting itself. It's going to be really difficult. And then we've got Chelsea away, Leipzig away, followed by Forest away around Christmas time. January, we play Arsenal away, who will then be in Europe. We play Monaco away. So that one's going to be a good one for me. My brother lives in Nice, so I'm going to go and stop with him. So that's going to be good, so that we can do it together. We've then got Celtic and then Wolves away. So the Celtic one is going to be, tough, I think, because you just know what their fans are like, don't you? Green Brigade, they're gonna be up for it. It's gonna be a momentous occasion. They're probably, and this is what I'll probably say about this new format as well, is that I think it's going to lead most clubs with something to play for going right into that last game. So I think because it's that massive big league format, if you win a game in a certain game week, you're probably going to jump about, I don't know what, 5 or 6 positions maybe. So going into that last game, there may be something on that. And if there is, then, and what I mean by something on it, we might be in, say, we might be in like 16th place and could jump to, say, 12th place, which pushes us to 12th in that league, which would be amazing. So yeah, I think it's gonna be epic. I think it's, I am still looking forward to it. I think, I don't really want to put my frustrations of what's happened with the ticketing anywhere around the team. That's where I'm at. And I think of Unai Emery in this, because if you remember any Unai Emery interview, what does Unai always say? Every single interview, he always mentions the fans first. So I imagine he's probably a little bit disappointed with the pricing. He probably is. So I think none of my anger and frustration is going to go anywhere near that match day 11, because we don't need it, because the players need to fully focus on this season. That's where I'm at. Those are my thoughts. I hope you like this little bit of a mini Champions League breakdown and an overview on where we're doing and what we're doing. It's unfortunate we have to talk about some of these things, but we can't sometimes shy away from them. One thing that has been good this weekend is actually England. We actually played quite well, and I did kind of see a little bit of a style, England style, mad. So yeah, England quite good. We had Trent inverting, we had him going into midfield, we scored a good goal, we looked lively. I kind of recognised Jack Grealish. So yeah, but then another thing which was mightily impressive was Belgium's double pivot of Yuri Tielemans and Onana. Tielemans got a goal, and that is looking very, very tasty indeed. So they're banging form. So really looking forward now to having Villa back, football back, Unai Emery back, Villa ball back, loads of football, no international breaks for a while. So cheers, everyone. Up the Villa. Like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts.